Welcome to Andy's Garage. I'm Andy Phillips. Today I'm going to show you how to properly rotate your tires. We're going to talk about why it's important and how to do it depending on if it's a front wheel, four-wheel drive, or rear wheel vehicle. Let's go ahead and get started. Now it's important to do this. The obvious reason is so that way your tires wear properly and you kind of get them moving around. It's also a good opportunity for you to inspect them while you're doing that, making sure that there's no damage instead of waiting until you get a blowout or something out on the road. Also, some tire manufacturers, in order for the warranty to be covered, they require you to do that. Now, a lot of people say you should do it every 5,000 miles, but I'll leave that up to you. I don't do that as often, but you should do that. It's just a good way just to keep everything wearing properly. Now, this particular vehicle that we have here, this is a Dodge Neon. So this is a front-wheel drive vehicle. I'm going to get an aerial shot so I can show you exactly the pattern on how we're going to move it. Then we're going to swap this out for a four-wheel drive and a rear-wheel drive vehicle so I can explain the rotation pattern for that, and then we'll jump into this one here specifically and actually we'll rotate it and take a look at the tires while we're doing that. So let's get an aerial shot so I can explain how we're going to do this. So with a front wheel drive vehicle, you have what's known as a forward cross. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be taking our front tires, moving them straight to the back, and then we're going to bring the back tires, crisscross them to the front. So for example, this one here, driver's side front, is going to come to driver's side rear. The driver's side rear is then going to crisscross right here to the passenger front right here. The passenger front is going to move to the passenger rear, and then the passenger rear is then going to crisscross here to the driver front. So that's the pattern that we're going to be doing on this one, which is a front wheel drive vehicle. Now let me get a rear wheel drive vehicle out here and let's show you how you would do it on a rear wheel drive. All right, so now this vehicle here is a rear wheel vehicle. On a rear wheel vehicle, you have what's known as a rearward cross. This one's different. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be taking your rear wheel tires, moving them to the front, and then crisscrossing your front ones back. So an example would be driver's side rear. This one comes forward. This front driver's side is going to crisscross back here to the rear. This one is going to slide forward, and then this one here, passenger front, is going to crisscross back to the driver's side rear. However, on this car here, because the tire width, I have currently 305s on the back, but normally this takes a 345. The fronts are only 225s. I'm not going to be crisscrossing that because it doesn't make sense. We're not going to have these wide, massive tires on the front, small on the back. So depending on the vehicle, that may not apply, but typically that's how you would do it with a rear wheel vehicle. Let's get a four-wheel drive in here so I can show you that one next. All right, now this is obviously four-wheel drive vehicle. This is a Jeep. With a four-wheel drive vehicle, you have what's called a hex pattern. Okay, so what you're going to be doing when you rotate your tires, you're going to be taking your front driver's side tire, moving it to the rear passenger, so back here. You're going to be taking the front passenger tire, moving it to the driver's side rear, right here, and then you'll be swapping these out. So then basically, that one's going to go here, this one's going to, well, that one's going to go there, that one will come here, this one goes here, so you're just kind of crisscrossing like an X. And I'm going to show you patterns. I'm going to have patterns right now on the screen so you can see what we've just talked about, just to give you a visual. But I'm going to get rid of this vehicle. We're going to bring the Neon back in here because the one that I'm actually doing the rotation on for this video is a front wheel drive vehicle. So I'm going to swap these out, get the Neon back here, and then we'll start switching it out. Now that we're ready to start, it helps if you have your spare tire out, because when we take off the front one, because remember, we're taking the front ones, bringing them back, then we're taking the back ones, crisscrossing them to the front. So when I take the driver's side front off first, I'm going to put the spare on there so we can lower it down, and then I'll jack up the back, and we'll swap it. So if you have a spare, if you have two spares, it's even better, because then you can be moving it around. Also, jack stands are a good idea. I don't have my jack stands with me right now, so we're just going to use the hydraulic jack and then use the spare. But let's go ahead and start moving along and get this taken care of. Now, depending how long your lug nuts have been on or if they were over torqued by the tire place you had them last worked on, sometimes they can be hard to get off. And the tire wrench that's supplied with your vehicle is inadequate. You can use a breaker bar or you can use an impact wrench. I have a pneumatic one I'm going to be using here, but there's a nice little electric one by Chicago Electric at Harbor Freight that's always come through for me very well. If you want to see the product review I did on that, I'll have a link across the top, also down in the description. But for this one here, we're going to use this to loosen these up. All right, we got them loosened now. Good, so we can get this up in the air. Take that one off, and then we'll take a look at both the tires, see how they look, and swap them out and head off to the other side. And when these lug nuts are over torqued like that, it can really be a problem. I also did a video where I showed how to remove them. Had one that was really bad on there. I'll have a link across the top down in the description for that as well, if you're dealing with that issue. Let's get the camera in here and take a look at these. Now this is the front one, driver's side front. That one's coming back here to the driver rear. You can see it, the treads look really good on it. It's got a lot of tread depth on it. So that one will be moving up. And we'll take the spare off when we swap it over. And then this one here is the one coming off the back. That one's going to be the one that's crisscrossing up to the passenger front. And you can see this one also here. Nice tire depth on that. No issues here on the inside. You want to look for any cracking, anything that might look unsafe. So these look good. So let's swap these around. Okay, so rear driver's side is done. That's the one that moved up from the front. I've placed this one where it needs to go. This is the driver's side rear. It's going here on the passenger side front. So the next thing I'm going to be taking off now, because we have that spare in place, we're going to take the passenger rear, because that one's going caddy corner on the driver's side. That way we can wrap up that side. This one's then going to come back, and then that one goes on there. Let me bring the camera on here and let's start doing this side, and then we can wrap up the driver's side. So these are our tires. This one here is coming here in the front. This one is going to be moving to the back. So move this like this. Let's get a close up here and we'll inspect these, and then we'll put them in place. Okay, this one's moving to the back. Nice tread depth here. Tire looks good. On the inside as well. No cracking or drying out. So we'll slide this one back. And then this one is the one that's going right here. Same thing here. Tread depth looks good. Wearing slightly on an angle, I'm noticing. Nothing major, but just a little bit. This is another reason why you want to rotate your tires, so that way they wear evenly. But if you do see anything off, like cupping or anything, you definitely want to look into your alignment. Also check your suspension, make sure that everything is good. But as far as the rubber on these things looks good, let's put them in place. Okay, well that wraps up this video. Tires have been rotated properly. I hope that this video was informative for you, helped you out with anything you might be working on with your tire rotation. Please send me any questions, comments. I would love to hear from you. And as always, I appreciate all the support, so please like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.